What's up, everybody? I'm Brian, and this is a very special video. This is something that's not intended to be an occasion, a video that I'm going to do quite often. It's just going to be a one-shot. Now, MLW stands for Major League Wrestling. It is a wrestling promotion from Florida. So, basically, if you haven't watched MLW Superfight, I suggest you pause this, open up a new tab, and go watch it. Now, Superfight only had 3 matches. Unfortunately, they were booking this. They were making this sound like it was going to be a pay-per-view. I really thought this was going to be like a 2-hour special event. It wound up being just a special episode of their TV show, which bothered me. Now, the other thing is, because there were 3 matches, the first match was the Major League Wrestling Tag Team Champion title defenses. Then it was a singles match. And then the World Heavyweight Championship match. That's the first thing I would have changed. That should have been the opener. Even though it's a feud match, I would have kept that as the opener, and then went to the tag belts. Because you don't open up with tag belts. The only reason you would open up with tag belts is because you don't care about that division. If you take this to WWE, their pre-shows are 205 Live and NXT matches because they don't care. And what they used to do is have all the women matches on in the beginning, because they didn't care about the women's division. Now that they care about the women's division, it's towards the end. And sometimes it is the headliner. Major League Wrestling should have done that. They should have put Cotto Brazil versus Ricky Martinez as the first match, so that anyone who did wind up showing up late is not going to miss a title match. Title matches should always be in the middle to the end, never in the beginning. Never in the beginning. So Teddy Hart is now the tag champion, and he happens to be the Major League Wrestling middleweight champion. And I don't like that at all. I don't like the fact that this guy has 2 belts. However, maybe they signed a contract with All Elite Wrestling, an exclusive contract, and they're not allowed to wrestle for MLW. So they had to drop their belts. And the biggest tag team opposing them is the Hart Foundation. Although personally, I would have given it to someone else then. Would have had someone else have the belts. So then, that would, once they wrestle Hart Foundation a couple times, lose the belts to the Hart Foundation, you've built up another team in the division. So I would have put that as a second match. And then the final match was the World Championship match. Now, if you haven't watched it, here's the spoiler. The finale was the shortest match of the entire night, which it's backwards. That should have been longer. They've been booking it that it's a 7-month battle to finally get this title shot. And he wrestled for 7 minutes. It should have been longer. Low-key loses the championship belt. And Tom Lawler is now the Major League Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. I wrote a script. It's a 23-week long script. I wrote it. I came up with the idea. I wrote the script, and then I sent a message to MLW. A week goes by, and I didn't get a response. It's the week of Superfight. I sent them another email. It's the Monday before. Day comes. I still haven't got a response. I still have yet to get a response. So I have a 2-page script here for 23 weeks of wrestling with nothing to do with it. I'm not going to delete this. I spent time on this. So I figured you can enjoy it, probably. Hopefully. I read it to somebody I know, and they were like, wow, that's actually good. I like that. I like how you stretched it out, how you brought in other elements from other storylines. So now, I'm going to lean up against the wall a bit, relax. You can relax as I read you this. Okay? So week 1 is at Superfight. Low-Key defends his championship belt against Tom Lawler. MLW management is at the ringside. Low-Key hits Tom Lawler at some point with a chair shot in front of the referee, who does not disqualify Low-Key. And it's not a hardcore match. That's illegal. It's an illegal chair shot. Low-Key then pins Tom Lawler and wins. MLW management decides to strip Low-Key of the title belt because he won on a controversial situation. So week 2, Low-Key cuts a promo about how he is still the champion. And then we have David Boy Smith Jr. defeats Puma King. Then there's a promo. Tom Lawler cuts a promo about how he should be the new champion. Low-Key cheated. They should give the belt to Tom Lawler. That's his thought process in this. So week 3, David Boy Smith Jr. and the Hart Foundation cut a promo about how MLW management is screwing over David Boy Smith, because if there was an actual champion, David Boy Smith Jr. would have been the #1 contender. So week 4, Selena says LA Park, and as a side note, if LA Park is La Parka from WCW, for anyone that has watched that like I did, that's La Parka. He still wrestles. Okay? Selena says LA Park was the #2 contender, and since the #1 contender lost, that means that LA Park is the #1 contender and should therefore be the MLW World Heavyweight Champion. Because there's no actual champion, it just should drop to the #1. So that's her argument. Okay, and then, later that night, LA Park defeats Ace Romero. Week 5. MLW management announces a Fatal 4-Way weapons match featuring Filthy Tom Lawler, Davey Boy Smith Jr., LA Park, and Low-Key. So now we go to week 6. This is something that they would be building up as another big event, and that each person brings in a weapon. They get to bring in one weapon with them. Low-Key I have as a question mark because I don't know what he would bring. The last time he wrestled Conan and he brought in a shiv. Or a shank. He brought in a shank. I don't approve of that one. I did not like that match. I thought that was very white trash ghetto shit. Didn't like it. And I would not want him to bring in another shank. Because the only way around it is that he winds up not using it, or that he winds up stabbing someone in the ring again. And I don't like that. So I have no idea what he would bring. Tom Lawler brings in nunchucks. Because he's an MMA guy. He's mixed martial arts. That's what he did before wrestling. So it's at some point he may have used nunchucks. LA Park brings in a steel chair because he's the chairman of the board. That's his thing. He's been doing that since WCW in the 90s. And then David Boy Smith, who wrestles in New Japan Pro Wrestling, brings in a kendo stick. And the winner of the match becomes LA Park, which means that LA Park is the now Major League Wrestling World Champion. Right? So that's week 6. Week 7, we go to Low-Key says in a promo that he was robbed of his championship belt. Lawler cuts a promo, says in the promo that he'll defeat anyone to get a title shot and become the next Major League Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. That same night, LA Park successfully defends against Davey Boy Smith Jr. We go to week 8. Low-Key announces that he is enacting his rematch clause. Every champion has a rematch clause once they become champion. Unless you're in the WWE, that does not exist. Yeah, they got rid of that clause. So that was week 8. Week 9, Teddy Hart loses against LA Park in a title defense. Week 10, Low-Ki defeats, I'm probably going to say this part wrong, Hijo de la Parca. It translates to son of La Parca. So Low-Ki defeats him, son of La Parca, and then Tom Lawler defeats Vandal Ortegun. Major League Wrestling management announces that night Low-Ki and Tom Lawler are now both #1 contenders for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship belt. Now, before we go to week 11, for those that don't watch MLW, Shane Strickland, it's Swerve's house. Tom Lawler started acting as if it was his house. That annoyed Swerve. They had a match. Whoever wins is the face of the company. Okay? Swerve lost. Shane Strickland lost the match. He's no longer the face of the company. Okay? So, week 11, Shane Strickland attacks Tom Lawler, causing him to lose the #1 contendership match against Low-Ki. Week 12, Shane Strickland cuts a promo about Tom Lawler, forgetting that MLW is Swerve's house. So weeks 13 through 17, Shane Strickland feuds with Tom Lawler. Tom Lawler wins overall in the feud. Week 18, Tom Lawler returns to his training camp to prepare for his next match against Low-Ki. And that's essentially the promo he cuts, that he's back in his camp. Week 19, Low-Ki cuts a promo about how Tom Lawler can never get the job done. By the way, that's my Low-Ki impersonation. Week 20, MLW management announces Low-Ki versus Lawler career versus streak match. Tom Lawler then defeats Low-Ki, ending Low-Ki's now unpinned streak. Week 21, Tom Lawler states that he is now the #1 contender for the Major League Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship, and that he wants his title shot now. Oh, this is him coming into the ring and announcing it, that he wants it now. LA Park walks to the ringside with a chair in hand. Hijo de la Park and Ricky Martinez walk out, followed by Selena de la Rente. All four enter the ring and surround Tom Lawler. Selena, who has a microphone, tells Tom Lawler that we can make it official, Tom, right now. This is in quotes. This is what she's actually saying, part of her promo. We can make it official, Tom, right now. You sign this, and you'll have your match. Lawler versus LA Park for the Major League Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship at insert main event. Insert major event. Sign the contract, and the match is yours. End quotes. LA Park holds out his folding chair horizontally against Tom Lawler's stomach. Like in front of him, just basically. Then Selena places a contract onto the chair and draws out a pen. Tom Lawler looks around slowly. Ricky Martinez begins to rub Tom Lawler's shoulders and says, quote, "Don't you want to be a champion?" End quote. Tom Lawler takes the pen and signs the contract. The four step back and LA Park hits Tom Lawler with the chair. Selena then announces that, quote, "Tom, you just signed a contract to have a chair match with the chairman of the board. You really are a champion of fools." End quote. Week 22. Tom Lawler cuts a promo about how he will win. As champion, he is going to get Selena fired and deported back to Puerto Rico. Week 23. Tom Lawler defeats LA Park in a chair match to win the MLW World Heavyweight Championship. And then Selena you could have Selena take a 2-week hiatus or something like that. And that's how I would have done it. That was the script I had written that they never got to use because they did not respond to my email. But they just never responded, and I think that's horrible. And now it's almost a month. You still haven't responded to my emails. So that's why I read it out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, give me that thumbs up like. And tell me about it in the comment section. But like I said, if you liked it, thumbs up. Tell me in the comment section. If you've never heard of any of these people, you can say that too. Or if you've never heard of MLW, let me know. Maybe basically I just introduced you to another wrestling format. Another wrestling promotion. You know, and if you are one of the MLW faithful like me, let me know. You know, it's nice to know how many other people are around this, because maybe they're not a minor promotion like I think they are. Maybe they are a major promotion. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do that. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that. If you want to help support my channel personally, financially, you can do that on my Patreon account. Links are in the description below. That's it for this video. So if you got this far, thank you for watching. Goodbye.